Hey guys, welcome to my first ever video feature for Book Pushin. I have had so many discussions with Hannah at So Obsessed blog about book recommendations and, do you give them, do you not? So to premise this feature, I gotta tell you, I am not huge into giving recommendations. Everybody's book tastes are so different. They're so subjective based on their life experience, their values, their views on things. So it's really hard for me to universally recommend a book. There's one other book that I am obsessed with that I will tell everyone to read, which will be the next book featured, so I can't tell you what it is. But I just am always really nervous about giving book recs, like everybody should read this book, or you should read this book, it's a you book, because what if they don't like it? I am now judged by somebody that I love, that loves books, that they might think I have bad taste in books. If I love a book and tells me to read it and they hate it, and they're like, well, Kelly told me to read this book, and oh, my phone's going off. Okay, I'm ignoring that. My bad. Totally unprofessional. They're going to judge me and think I have bad taste. How could she love this book? How is this a 5-star book for her? This is terrible. That is a huge fear, because I don't want anybody that loves books to think I have bad taste in books. So it's really hard for me to rec books that I'm always anxious about it, because if they don't like the book, I'll feel really bad and all that. So, however, what prompted this feature was the book that I'm going to talk about, because I fell hardcore in love with this book. I mentioned it yesterday in my book banging post because the guy in it was my hot man of the month, and that book, the first book of Book Pushin that I think everyone should read or at least look into if it's your thing, is The Bronze Horseman by Paullina Simons. Okay, I don't even know where to start about how much I love this book. So the background story. This girl that I met when I was in Europe was reading it, and she's like, oh, it's about Russia, and during World War II, you really get a sense of the culture and why, a lot of Russians today are so stoic because they've been brought up that way. She's like, it's a really good book, you should read it. Okay, so I asked for it for Christmas because I wanted a big, chunky book to take with me to Africa, just in case my Kindle died. There's hardly electricity anywhere, so I wanted one solid, thick book that could keep me occupied. My Kindle died. I didn't want to do anything but read this book. It is 800 pages, a little over, 810, 808. Don't let that scare you, okay? It is such an easy read. A lot happens, obviously, in 800 pages, but it is not difficult to read. You're not thinking too hard about, the content. It is adult fiction, adult historical fiction. So don't let the size scare you. You will finish this so quickly, and literally by page, I should look, probably 30. Let me look. Oh wait, hold on, I'm gonna have it. Yep, 30. Page 30. You will be hooked, and you will not want to put it down. So, what my friend from Europe didn't tell me was that the entire book is this huge, epic love story. She didn't know that I love book boyfriends. This guy I talked about, Alex, in Book Bangin', he is my number 2 book boyfriend of all time. You heard me right. Of all time. Second only to Z from the Black Dagger Brotherhood. So why I love this book. This is kind of I feel like my Book Pushin' are going to be kind of video reviews and why you should read this. So it takes place the day that the Germans invaded Russia, and Tatiana lives with her family and her sister Dasha in a 2-bedroom apartment with their grandparents. It's communist group communal living, and it's their story of how they were affected by the siege of Leningrad, which lasted, I think, a little over 2 years, a year and a half. She meets Alex on the day that war was declared, that they invaded, and from there it is epic. Something happens on page, so they meet, and then something happens, and I really don't want to ruin it for you, but it causes huge drama in their lives, and it's very much a love story that involves, what's the word I'm looking for, because I don't want to ruin it. There's a reason they can't be together, let's just say. and it tells their story from that point on, but the characters are just phenomenal. They're not perfect. They're not perfect by any means. They have their flaws. You will feel every single emotion you are capable of feeling while reading this book. You will want to cry, you'll laugh, you'll sweat a little bit because there's some very hot scenes. You will love them. There are points you will hate them. Like, really, like, that is how fleshed out and complex these characters that Paullina, I hope I'm saying her name right, fleshes out. Because there are times that you just love them so much your heart hurts, and then there are times when you're like, why are you being so stupid? Like, I hate you right now. I hate you. But it's so good. Everything. It is just so poignant. The writing is simplistically beautiful and just all the feels, you guys. All the feels. All of them. I'm trying to think. There's only other book that I'm going to talk about. Not the only other book. The other book that I'm going to do for Book Pushin is the other thing that I think I've read. I felt all the feels. This is not a drill. This is legit. What else do I want to say about this? Oh, so not only, I mean, it says, the Bronze Horseman, a love story. I think you can see that. But it's not only a love story. Is that a huge part of it? Does it drive the entire story? Yes. But what the Russian people, especially in Leningrad, went through during the siege, oh my gosh, it's atrocious. Like, I love World War II books, and this was something totally different that I read about. I love reading about different people's perceptions and experiences in that horrible time. This takes the cake on brutal. Like, you have to read it because you can't even imagine that this happened and this is real life because of what these people went through. And more on that, it really made me think and, really explore kind of my thoughts on war and how lucky, if you're American, and I'm sure there's other countries that can maybe fit in this, but probably not, how lucky the United States was that we never had any war or attack besides Pearl Harbor on our country. Like, our people have never had to live through this and what a city under siege and in the midst of war is like, because it is so sad and it's so brutal, and it's so good, and the ending is amazing. There's 2 other books in this. I have not read them yet. I bought them the day I got back. I'm not even kidding you. The day I got back. And I know that I'm going to be obsessed with reading them, so I can't read them on my work week because I need to focus. And I'm in the middle of a longer book right now, so I need to finish that first. But I'm going to be reading the second 2 very, very soon. And, there's one other thing I just want to say about this book, besides the fact that I love it. Tatiana is a phenomenal heroine in this book. She is selfless to a fault. You will want to just kill her, but she's amazing. Alexander and his temper. The only thing that I didn't really enjoy about this is that there's a huge dynamic and situation with her sister Dasha, who is 7 years older than her. And I have 2 younger sisters that I am extremely close with. They are my best friends, and I'm not just saying that. Like, we hang out all the time. Like, we're disgustingly attached at the hip. And Tatiana, I think, feels this way about her sister. Like, she thinks they have this type of really, really close relationship, but Dasha doesn't reciprocate that in her actions. Like, I'm the oldest sister, and the thought of hurting any of my younger sisters, would give me hives, and Dasha just doesn't treat her sister like she should, and so there's this constant theme that, the sisters are so close, yada yada yada. I didn't get that vibe, which makes me sad because the story would have been that much better had it been there, but it's something I didn't connect with, because that's, in my opinion, this is not how sisters that are close act towards one another. What else do I want to say? Oh, this is a funny story. So I finished this. I had a 6-hour layover on the way home from Africa, and so I sat in the Nairobi airport for 6.5 hours, and I had to give myself, I stopped reading on the trip to give myself like 250 pages, because I'm like, 6 hours, I mean, it's a big book, I'll eat when I'm there, or whatever, 250 pages should time me over for the 6 hours. I sat in the Nairobi airport in public sobbing because the book is so good and the ending is just amazing. And yeah, if you read my top 10 Tuesday, I cry in public in books. I really need to stop reading in public because I just cry. Anyway, Book Pushin', number 1, The Bronze Horseman, by Paullina Simons. I know Hannah at So Obsessed is going to read it soon. Hannah. And Erin over at Fiction Fair is reading it as I video this because she's sending me text messages and tweets about how much she loves it. So it's not just me. It's not just me. Read this book. It's amazing. Let me know. You know what? If you read it in a few months, let me know. I'll reread it with you because it's that good. I can't wait to reread it. In fact, just thinking and talking about it when Erin sends me tweets, I'm like, maybe I should just reread it now. I finished this book like a week ago, guys. The Bronze Horseman. Too legit to quit. Book Pushin'. Everyone should read this. Peace and love.